Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the October edition of the AWS User APAC Meetup. And I'm also thrilled to see people are joining here today. And I like to extend a warm welcome to all our returning members, as well as anyone who have joined for the first time. So today's sessions is about AWS data and infrastructure security services, promising to be valuable and insightful experience. Uh, we are lucky to have Mr. Abhijit Powar. He's the vertical head of AWS security at CloudThat. So he'll be sharing his expertise with us. So I would like to add two more points to here. We all know that security in the cloud is more crucial than ever. And this community is all about staying ahead and learning from one another and driving the best practices. So I encourage you to actively participate and be part of asking a question. So without any adding any delay, we'll start the session. I would like to welcome Abhijit to start the session. So Abhijit, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Mintu. Okay, so let's start with this session. Okay, we'll not waste time. So welcome to this. I think it is short webinar of 1 hour. So we will spend this 1 hour together. And the topic for today that I have selected is few services. Okay, not all the services, but yes, 3 important services that I will introduce you with respect to AWS Cloud. And those 3 services are really important, really interesting, and it is good to know about these services, how we can use them for the security. Now, before we proceed with this particular session, you should know that who actually is speaking here, who is Abhijit and all. You should know my background. Mint knows, but for you people, actually, I am someone who is new for you. So let me introduce myself. Abhijit Powar. I am working as a vertical head for AWS security at CloudThat. I am also the first, you can say, AI, that is a champion authorized instructor across the globe to have the AWS Golden Jacket. So I'm an AWS Golden Jacket holder as well, as I have completed all the active, you can say, AWS certifications. Along with that, also I've completed certifications from Azure as well as the GCP. So security across all, you can see these 3 domains which are there. All these things actually I have completed. Okay. And currently, you talk about my experience. I have 20 plus years of experience. Okay, the starting journey was totally into the IT service industry, and then I came into the academic industry. And you can say, like, for last 2.5 years, I'm conducting corporate trainings on AWS, as I am the AWS authorized instructor. I'm conducting, you can say, the trainings for from AWS also. Like, AWS also gives me some training, and directly from AWS the trainings are conducted. Also from CloudThat, actually, I'm conducting the trainings. And I'm conducting the trainings on, you can say, all the professional and specialty level, you can say, courses of AWS which are there. And with a very good, you can say, track record, I will say the rating that I have is around, you can say, out of 5, it is 4.9 plus, which is there. So that actually I have maintained for this last 2.5 years, which is there. Now let's come to, you can say, the point, what exactly we are going to see today. And I will promise you, okay, it will not be, you can say, theoretical things. Minto asked me immediately when I started with this slide deck, he said, how many slides are there? I said, no, it is not something like I will go with those slides and all, because I know, I am a trainer and I know how much, you can say, it is boring if sitting on the other side and just looking at the slides which are there. Because slide is something that you also can browse. Google is there, everything. You can just get the information from wherever you want. What actually our agenda will be, I will be discussing few things from the slide, only important pointers, but I will show all these 3 services that we are going to see. I will show all these things in the console. So practically you will understand what exactly happens or how these things actually works in AWS console, which is there. So practically you can understand those things. And that's why I will be utilizing more time, you can see, on the console. It is like 80% time we will spend on the console part. And then we can, at the end, if you have any questions and doubts, you can just go ahead and ask me. Now, which 3 services we are going to cover? Now, from infrastructure security point of view, In today's agenda, first I will cover the IAM Access Analyzer. I have seen that as an AWS authorized instructor, I have seen even though people are working in AWS industry with security as a background and they know about AWS security, but still, if I ask them a question about Access Analyzer, they even do not know that. Yes, I have seen a lot of architects are there, 3 years, 4 years, they are working in AWS and they know IAM service, they know IAM console. But if I ask them, okay, can you tell me what is this Access Analyzer and why we use it, or what is the purpose of this? It is very difficult for them also to, you can say, know that, because they have not explored it. And but this is a very strong and important service which is there. The next service that we will explore is the web application firewall. This is an important firewall. If you see almost all the architectures which are designed for, you can say, AWS workloads, you will find, you can say, WAF will be used over there. And that's why we'll see what exactly this firewall is and how it actually works, the rules and everything. I will show some good demos that will give a clarity on, you can say, these particular things. And the last service that actually we are going to understand is the Messi, which is here. So this is also an interesting service and an interesting demo also I will show. Not only how Messi works, I will show an integrated, you can see, things which are there, like other services, how we can integrate with Messi and how we can build an automated solution as well. So you will get an idea that, okay, how multiple AWS services can work together, like security service responding, or you can say that services that can take actions on that. All these things you can also, you will understand within this demos. So this is the agenda for this particular session. As we have only 1 hour, we cannot cover all the AWS security services. Maybe somewhere in the next, you can say, webinar, we will try to cover some more services. Now, before we move ahead and see the different security services are there, very important point that you have to know from AWS security point of view, that is the shared responsibility model. Now, when we talk about shared responsibility model, remember that whenever you want to actually have a workload or a solution to, you can say, to have running in the AWS cloud, then the question comes into mind of a customer that who is responsible for what things. So that is something you can say, this model gives a clarity. What is your responsibility as a customer? What is AWS responsibility as a provider? And that particular model, we call it as a shared responsibility model, which is here. If suppose, I don't know whether you know that or not, but suppose if you want to, you can say, understand this, that let's take any service. Like if you say that, Abhijit, I will take any service, and how I will know that what is my responsibility and what is AWS responsibility. So there is one document that is available. I will be sharing this link in the chat box as well. I will be sharing multiple links in the chat box as we go ahead. This is the documentation link that is available. You can refer this particular link, and this link will help all of you to understand that. For example, if I take an example of, you can say, like EC2 instance, which everyone knows. If I click on this particular instance, means this particular service, in this you can see there are 2 options which are given. Security of the cloud. Security of the cloud is nothing but this is the security or responsibility of the AWS. When it is written as security in the cloud, that is the customer's responsibility. So these 2 things are mentioned for EC2 service, that what is the AWS responsibility for this service, what is your responsibility for this particular service, and related document links are also provided. So for every service, this you can say this documentation link you can just refer. All services are listed over here. For any service you want to understand that what is the shared responsibility model with respect to this service, what is my responsibility as a customer, what is AWS responsibility as a provider, you can use this particular document link which is there. Okay, so this is something you should know, and this is something you can use actually when you're talking about, or when you're working with, you can say, the AWS cloud environment for the security purpose. Now the next thing that we are going to see, the first service that we will explore is the IAM Access Analyzer. Now when we talk about IAM Access Analyzer, it comes into the category of, you can say, infrastructure security, and in the console of, you can say, IAM service. So IAM is the service which everyone knows, identity and access management, which we use for authentication and authorization purpose. And within that console, we have one more, you can say, feature that is available, which is called as a IAM Access Analyzer option, which is available. Now, what is the use of this particular service? Now, whenever we talk about the Access Analyzer, remember that it is a tool or it is a service that will help you to identify the resources that are shared outside your environment. Now let's understand this with a very basic example. You take an example of like you are living inside of some apartment or some building or society, anything is there. We know that you have a, you can say like for that building or something, you have a, you can say gate or compound is there, a single gate is there. On that gate, a security guard will be sitting. And suppose you are entering, you are living into that building or you are living into that apartment. So you are, you can say the member of that apartment which is there. And if you are entering from the gate, the security guard will not ask you anything. They will not stop you. They will say, okay, he is the owner of, you can say, a flat within this building. They will not stop you from going inside. They will allow you to go inside. But if suppose someone guest is coming in, okay, someone from outside who is not belonging or who is not a member of this particular building is coming from outside and is entering into your building, what immediately that guard, you can say the guard will do? The guard will stop that person, will tell, okay, you want to go inside, no problem. But please do an entry into our register, write your name, where you are going for it, what is the purpose, time and everything. So that you can say security guard will have a log entry. Who, which was the person who entered, where the person was going, everything information is collected, and then you will be allowed, that guest will be allowed to enter your building. Now suppose like this in a day, maybe there are 50, 60 guests which are entering for different people, they are going visiting and then going back. Now at the end of the day, I want to understand how many people from outside have visited my building today, because something has gone wrong. So today something happened in our apartment, something has gone wrong. And now I want to understand, I want to gather the information and I want to understand, has anyone entered into my, you can say, environment or my building from outside, means who is not a member of my building or not a member of my apartment. Has someone done that? Now where I get, where I will get that information? So already we said, anyone who is a guest and entering into a building, guard has, you can say, kept a log of that. And I can go back to that register, log register, whatever is there, and then I will check that logbook or register book to just check how many entries are there. So 50 entries are there. Then I will check the time and everything. Maybe at this time something has happened. I will check at that time who was entering, how he entered, to whom actually they were going, what resource actually they were accessing. Now the same thing I want to have available in my AWS cloud as well. So in your AWS environment or in AWS cloud, you have multiple resources. It is a bucket which is available. You have EC2 instance which is there. Any service or any resource that you have created in your own account. Now suppose if you are accessing your own AWS account, or maybe some IAM users which you have created within your AWS account, they are accessing the resources, then there is no problem because they are part of my AWS account. These users are part of my AWS account. But what if someone from other AWS account, or maybe some federated user, or federated user means non-AWS account user, tries to access any resource from your AWS account, which we call it as an external principal, just like a guest. We call them as external principal. So when any external principal is trying to access, you can see your resources, I want some service to keep a record of that and show me that, see, these are the findings that I have received, these are the logs that I have generated, and see that these are the external principals who are accessing your resources. External principal, I'm saying. So that can be done by using a service which is called as Access Analyzer. So the purpose of this service is to detect unintended access to your resources. It may be external access which is there, and also there is something called as unused access. This is some new feature that they have added, you can say maybe 5 or 6 months back into this Access Analyzer. I will be discussing on both of them, and you can ensure the compliance, you can say, with the security best practices which are there. So these are some purposes of, you can say, the Access Analyzer. These are the key features. Like you can also do the policy analysis, like based on the policy of, you can say, your bucket, it can understand that anyone from outside can access this bucket, and you can see why it is accessible or how it is accessible, because the bucket policy or the permission that is given from that bucket is actually allowing, you can say, that to happen. And currently also it is active or not, that also you can see that when it was detected maybe 2 months back. Currently also is it active? Yes, currently also it is active. Means you can understand that no one has taken an action for last 2 months. Okay. So real-time monitoring, continuous monitoring of resource policies, detailed findings will be available. I will show all these things in console. And S3 bucket policy analysis also will be done by access analyzer, which is here. Now, how this access analyzer works and how to configure it, that also I will show in the console. So when to use an access analyzer? Whenever you want to do security audits. That's why I told you. If something happens or something goes wrong, then we always go back and check that let's see the records that have been collected. And then from that only we can understand that what has gone wrong and someone has done something. Let's see, can I find something over here in the findings that are generated over here? Then from compliance perspective also we can use this option, because if I want that my bucket should not be accessed by any external principal, but it is showing, the finding is showing that one of your bucket is externally accessed by external principal, that means that bucket is not meeting the compliance requirement which is there. And also to protect your data that can be on a bucket which you do not want to be shared with, you can say user from outside environment, that also you can say security you can take care if you are using an IAM access analyzer which is there. Now how it works and everything and how to configure it, I will show in the console now. That will give you a clear idea how it actually works. Okay, so I will go to my console. This is my AWS account which is here. I will open one more AWS account which I have. So just give me half a minute, because I will show that if someone tries to, you can say log in from a different AWS account, how that access analyzer generates, you can say the things. Okay, so let me just open the other AWS account. And then I will show, you can say something which we actually will do, and let's see if you can see it generates, you can see the finding for us. Okay, nice. So let me log in into a different AWS account. Okay, so I will show you that I will access something from one account. Okay, which is a resource which is from one account, but I will access it from other AWS account. And let's see whether IAM access analysis generates the finding for that or not. Okay, because it will be a type of, you can say like external principal accessing your resources. Okay. So now you can see that I am opening two AWS accounts just for, you can see your information. I will show you. This is one AWS account. The account ID is 4857 something. I have one more account which is 0119. So these are two different AWS accounts which are there. Now what we will do is that with these two accounts, okay, so one account is 0119. So this is one AWS account which is available. And I have one more AWS account which is available. That is 4857. Okay. What we will do is that from this particular account, I am currently logged into this particular account as a user. I will try to access, you can say any resource, like I will try to access some buckets or something, S3 service from this account by using a role. So I will create a role and I will assume, you can say that role from this particular account. And by using that, what I will do, I will try to access some resources from this account. Now, due to this, what will happen is that I will enable the access analyzer here. I will enable the access analyzer here. And what this access analyzer will do now, whenever someone from external, because say for this account is 0119. For this account, any user from this account becomes an external principal. So anyone who is accessing the resources from a different AWS account becomes an external principal user. For this account, this user becomes an external principal which is here, and it will generate a finding for that. Let's see how this can be done. First, I will show you where this option is available of access analyzer. So go to your console, AWS console, open the service which is IAM. So I will just type IAM, and I will open the IAM console or IAM service which is there, which is almost known to everyone who is working with AWS cloud. Go to the IAM console. On the left hand side, just scroll down and you can see there is an option called as access report, and below that you will say access analyzer which is there. Click on the access analyzer option. Now see, what I will show is that I will just go to some different region where I have not enabled the access analyzer, and I will show that how it shows if it is not enabled. So if I go to any region where access analyzer is not enabled by me or not created by me, so it will show like this. So if I go to access analyzer and it is a regional, you can say thing that I have to enable it for every region where I want to collect the records. So I will go to this, you can say region, and you can see that there is no analyzer currently. You can say external access analyzer is not set up. Unused access analyzer is not set up. Nothing is set up. So what you can do is now you can just click on create access analyzer. It will ask you which type of analyzer you want to create. Is it for external access analysis, like any external principal accessing your resource, or you want to do unused access analysis? Unused access analysis means what? Suppose you have created users, you have created roles, you have created policies, but you have never used them. Now it may happen that, and this is not a best practice of AWS. AWS does not recommend that you create a user and you have never used it. Why you have not used it? Then why you're keeping that? Then remove it. If you have created a role and you have never used it, why you're keeping it? So don't keep the resources as it is there. If you're not using them, just you can say remove them or terminate them. And that's why how I can understand which one is used, which one is not used, how much duration you have not used. So that is nothing but is called as unused access analysis, which will show you that you have created a user and never used it. So then I can go ahead and delete that user. A role created but not used. I will go ahead and delete that role. So if you want to create analyzer, there are two options. One is external access analysis, another is used access analysis. You can use any one of them, but you can use both of them also or any one of them also. If you want to create both of them, first create one analyzer and then you can go with the next analyzer. So you can create it separately. So first you have to create an external access analyzer, scroll down, give the name for this analyzer. Then it will ask you, because I have a multiple AWS account and AWS organization to be there. So that's why it is giving me an option. But for you, if you have a single AWS account, you will get only one option, that is for your current account. So you can select that and then just say create analyzer. So once you click on create analyzer button, what will happen is that it will create an analyzer. It will create an analyzer in that particular region. You can see that in OU region, I have already created, you can say an analyzer which is it, and this is the name of that analyzer. And already that analyzer has generated one finding. You can see that one finding is already generated. This is the finding ID. This is the resource. This is a bucket name that they have given. And you can see that someone external principal, you can say, has accessed that bucket. Which external principal can access this bucket? All principal, means because my bucket policy says that anyone can access this particular object within this bucket. That's why it is saying that as per your policy, this bucket can be accessed by all principals. Okay. How it is shared? This bucket has been shared with using the bucket policy. That's why that information also you can get it here. What is the type of access level that is given? Read. Now see, all this analysis is done by access analyzer by reading the bucket policy. Means even though you can say writing a bucket policy in a wrong way, access analyzer will find out that see you have configured it in this way and your bucket will be accessed by anyone from outside. Do you want to keep it like that? Now see, when you see this analyzer findings which are generated, just click on the finding. Just click on the finding that is generated. I will show one more finding. I will generate it and I will show you. I will click on that finding. It will give you detailed information. What is the finding ID? When it was updated? You see, yesterday only it was updated. What the status is still active. Still it is active. Okay. Which principal can access it? Any principal can access it. Okay. Which bucket? This is the bucket. I will just show you the policy of this bucket, because my policy is written in such a way allow any principal to access this particular bucket which is there. So that policy actually I have written. Okay. So let me just change. So you can see that if I go to this bucket permissions and if I show you policy, see the policy effect is allow any principal. Star means any principal is allowed to get the object from this bucket. And that's why this is not a best way of, you can say, writing the policy, which has been immediately detected by my access analyzer. And that's why it is showing that this is what we have detected. Anyone from external, you can say world can access, you can say resource within your account. Now there are two steps that you can take. Either you can archive, means if it is an intentional thing that you have only done, you can archive it. You will say, okay, I only have done this, no problem. But if it is not an intentional thing that you have done, you can go to the S3 console, open that bucket policy, and you can change it so that you are avoiding, you can say that anyone can access this particular bucket. So this is how we can actually create an analyzer. Now let's do one thing. I have, you can say, some role that is created. I will try to assume that role from the other AWS account, and let's see whether this access analyzer generates a finding or not. So just let me, yeah, this is the role which I have already created. The role name is Discovery Day role. Let me copy this. I will go to the other AWS account that I already have shown to you. So it is this one, 4857. I will click on this account, switch role, and I will, from here, I will try to access the resource in the other AWS account, which is 0119 account, which is here. So let's see how we can assume a role. You will also understand about this if you don't know about assuming the role. I will just put the account ID. See, destination account ID is this 0119. What is the role that you have created there? This is the role that I have created in that account. So this is the role that I have created over there, and I want to assume this particular role. So a user from 4857 account is assuming the role which is created in 0119 account. I will say switch the role. Now once I switch the role, this user from 4857 account has assumed that role, and now you can see I have gone into the 0119 account. If I go to S3, if I go to the S3 service, because I have given the permission for the role as S3 read only permission. So if I go to S3, you can see all the buckets. Just now I showed you the bucket name was KMS something. You can see the name of the bucket KMS, which was in another account. So that bucket also I can see, I can open that bucket, I can get the object from it. Everything I can do because the role that is assumed by that, you can say, user has a permission to read the objects from, you can say, the buckets. Now we have done just, you can say, some things so that access analyzer will detect this and it will create a finding for that. So I will just switch back. Let's go back to the main account. So we have gone back to the main account 0119. I will go to the external access option which is available, the analyzer which is there. And it will take some time. It is not like immediately you will get it. So it will take some time. And after some time, you will see that a finding will be generated over here. A finding will be generated where it will show that someone has assumed the role. The name of the role will be there. In the external principal, you will see the account ID as 4857 will be there. And that will be generated because someone from external account or other AWS account has tried to access your resources which are there. Now it will take some time. What we will do, we will move to the next service. Maybe in the meantime, once the you can see the things are generated here, I will show the, you can say, the findings also to you. Okay. So this is the way we can create an access analyzer. Now suppose if you feel that, okay, Abhijit, this is okay, that we have got the idea that how we can use access analyzer, how to create it. But I know that you cannot remember all these things, you can say, within a very small time which actually we have. So what I'm doing, I'm sharing a blog link. I have written a blog on the same thing, that how you can create an analyzer for external access, how you can create an analyzer for unused access. All this with snapshots, everything is available. I've written a blog. I'm sharing that same link in the chat box. I already shared it now. So you can refer that, you can say links, you can keep it, you can say available with you, so that whenever you want to just read and go through about the access analyzer and everything, you can just go through my blog, which I've written. So this was about the first point, which was the first service that we have explored, which is IAM Access Analyzer. Now let's move on to the next service, that is Web Application Firewall. Now what is a Web Application Firewall and when you can use it? Very important thing that you have to remember, whenever you are looking for layer 7 security, whenever you are looking for layer 7 security or web application, you can say layer security, or you want to protect your applications from layer 7 attacks like SQL injection attack, it may be cross-site scripting attack, it may be HTTP flood attack which is there. So from all these attacks, if you want to protect your web applications, how you can protect that? Also not protecting, if I talk about filtering the web traffic, for example, if I want that I have created a web application. I'm running it in AWS cloud, and my clients are accessing it for publicly, means publicly whatever the clients users are there across the globe, they are accessing my web servers or web applications. What I want, that I want to have some restrictions, that there is one browser that I do not prefer, you can say, users to use it while accessing my application. So what I can do is that I can write a rule. I can write a rule within, you can say, this particular WAF, that I want to block the traffic if, you can say, user is sending the request to access the application from a specific browser. So you can also block that type of traffic also. Okay. You can also have a rate limitation. Like if you know that, okay, someone can do a DDoS attack on your, you can say, web servers, you can write a rule that if suppose the number of requests coming from a single IP address are more than this number, maybe 100, 200, whatever you want. If it is more than this number within a time limit of, you can select 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you want to set, then immediately block, you can say, that request. Means once that threshold is reached, it will stop, you can say, sending the request to your origin or the target which is here. So that we can do. Now remember that this is a managed service which is available from AWS that we can use for layer 7 security. It defends, again, you can say, the common attack vectors like SQL injection, cross-site scripting, HTTP flood, lot of things which attacks are on the layer 7. It can protect, you can say, resources from that. It works with, you can say, multiple services, not with all services. Remember, it can work with multiple services. And what are those services? The services are like CloudFront, API gateway, load balancer, which is application load balancer. Then it can also work with AWS Cognito, which is here, and AWS AppSync, which is here. So these are the 5 services. These are the 5 services, out of which this is a global service, and all the remaining 4 services are the regional services. So it can work with one global and, you can say, 4 regional services which are there. So WAF can be integrated with these particular services which are there. Now you can protect the use cases, means when you will use this WAF. So already we discussed, if you want to protect your web applications from layer 7 attacks like SQL injection, cross-site scripting, use WAF. You want to mitigate DDoS attacks, which is called as a HTTP flood attack, which is there. So if you want to prevent your applications from getting flooded with the HTTP requests which are there, then you can use, you can say, WAF for that. And whether you want to filter any, you can say, bad requests which are coming, you can say, from the or you can say maybe from a user or client, that also you can block. There's so many things are there, so many rules you can write. Okay, I will show the rules practically, you can see, in the console with one of, you can say, my load balancer already there, and we will see how actually that WAF works. Okay, so remember that we can integrate the WAF with CloudFront, we can integrate the WAF with API gateways so that you can protect your APIs, and centrally we can manage the security for all your web applications which are there. So we can create the WAF, and that becomes a single channel, because anyone who wants to access your application, the request has to pass through WAF only. Okay, so all the requests will always go to WAF. WAF will have the rules. It will check whether, as per the rule, whether the request can go ahead or not, and then the decision will be taken. Now let's see this thing in the console, how it works, because we will not waste time, you can say, in discussing the things, you can say, over there mostly. So I will show you now. I have created already a web application firewall, and I will give a background, means I will give a scenario how I have created the demonstration, so that you will get an understanding also. What I have done is that I have already created 2 web servers. I have created 2 web servers which are there, web server 1 and web server 2. So I have 2 instances. I have 2 instances which are a replica of each other. So there are 2 web servers, both are similar. But why I have created 2? For high availability, or for the fault tolerance of my application. So one web server is running in one availability zone, another web server is running in another availability zone. So first I will show you these resources. So I will go to EC2, and everything is running in OU region. So I will show you the running resources which are there. So you can see that these are the 2 web servers which I am currently running in the OU region, and you can see both of them are running in 2 different availability zones. One is 2A, another is 2B, which is there. Okay, so both are running in 2 different availability zones. Now what I have done is that I do not want, you can select 2 different IP addresses to be shared to client. Okay, you access this, you access that. If that is not available, use it. It is not possible. So what I have done is in front of this web servers, I have used an application load balancer. That means these web servers are running behind an application load balancer which is there. So both these web servers are running behind an application load balancer which is there. And this application load balancer has a URL now that I will be sharing with you so that you can test the things on your level also. So I will just show you that I have created a load balancer. I will go to load balancers. You can see this is the load balancer that I have created. And behind this load balancer, both the web servers are running. I will just show you that if I go to load balancer, okay, and if I go to the targets, okay, you can see that in the target you will see the same two instances which are available, web server 1 and web server 2. Okay, and suppose now what I will do is that I will again go back to my load balancer. I will just copy this URL of my load balancer. I will paste it here in my first. You can say I will show you first, and then I will paste it in the chat box as well. Now, if I refresh the page, you can see that because load balancer actually equally distributes the request among the web servers which are present in the backend. You can see this IP address is always getting changed because one time I'm getting the response from one web server, another time I'm getting it from the another web server. I'm sharing the same link in the chat box. Okay, I'm sharing this link in the chat box. Just click on this link and you can say check that are you able to access the same page and are you getting the same response which is there. You can just give a quick reaction. Thumbs up is also fine so that I can understand whether you are able to access or not. Okay, so just see that. Okay, yeah, so you are able to access it, right? Now what I have done is that if you see this URL, you can see that this URL does not, you can say it does not feel good as a company that you are sharing this type of URL to the client. Client will say, what is this URL? What is this big number? We cannot remember these things. Please give a proper domain name like that. We can remember it. And that's why what I have done is that I have a purchased domain name which is available. So that is uptakeskills.in. Sorry, that is uptakeskills.in. So this is my purchased domain name which I have. Okay, a public domain name which I have purchased. What I have done is that I have mapped this URL. I have mapped this domain name with this domain name. So this mapping already I have done. This mapping already I have done and using a service called as a Route 53. So using the Amazon, you can say the AWS, you can say DNS service, which is Route 53. I have created a hosted zone, and in that I have created a record that whenever any user hits, you can say uptakeskills.in, then what will happen is that automatically that request will go to load balancer, and then you will get the same response. Let's check that. So I will open it first on my screen. I will show it to you, and then the same link I will share with you. Now see, uptakeskills.in is also giving the same response to me. Same response, no difference in that. I am sharing the link in the chat box. All of you can just test and let me know. Are you getting the same response, same output? And keep these two links handy. Okay. Don't close that page. Keep as it is because we will try something. You can say with the WAF. Okay. Now see, everyone is able to access both the things and they are giving the same output. Now let's start with, you can say the WAF, where WAF will come into picture. Now I want to secure this web applications from layer 7 attacks. So what I have done is that I have introduced a web application firewall. I have introduced a web application firewall in front of this load balancer. Now due to this, what happens is that whenever any user is trying to put uptakeskills.in or any URL, the request will first go to WAF. The request will first go to WAF, and then the WAF will check whether we should allow that particular request. Okay, whether we should allow that particular request or we should deny that particular request based on the rules that you have written inside this WAF. Now remember, WAF is the name of the service. Within this service, what we create is called as a web access list. Within this WAF, what we create is called as a web access list. And within the web access list, we can write the rules. If the rule is matched, it will check what action has to be taken. If it is allowed, it will allow the packet to move ahead. If it is denied, it will stop that particular request over there itself. Okay. So these things we can do on the WAF level. So any request that is going to load balancer has to pass through WAF only. So I will show that already I have done these things. I have already created a web access list. You can see this is WAF and shield service. I have already created a web access list, and in this web access list has multiple rules which I have written, so that because showing creating rules and everything, it will take time. I have a blog available. I will share that with you so that you can understand how we can write the rules in the WAF. I have a load balance. Sorry, I have a web access list which is created. If I show to you that which is the resource that is associated with this web access list, you can see it is the same load balancer which is there. Demo will be application load balancer. So this is the same load balancer. If you see the name, that is associated with this WAF which is there. So WAF has been associated already with this load balancer. Now I will show you some rules which are available. Let's start with one of the rule, which is a simple rule. This rule is called as a IP set rule. This rule is called as a IP set rule. What is IP set rule? Now you can see there is a rule which is here. This rule is actually an IP set rule. If I click on that rule, you can see that this is the name of the rule, and the statement is, if any IP address, I will just explain this statement. If any IP address from this IP set, what is IP set? IP set is nothing but it is a list of IP address which are known malicious or suspicious IP address. So where we can create this IP set, left hand side you can see these are the menu options which are available. You can see there's an option called as IP set. I can open this IP set option and I can create an IP set here. Just click on create IP set and you will be able to create an IP set over here. Just put all the known malicious IP address or suspicious IP address within this box and say create. I have already created one IP set named as block IP. I will click on that and there is no IP address. Means currently I do not have entered any IP address within that. So it is blank. And this same IP set I have used in my rule. So see the rule. This is the rule. And what is the IP set name? The IP set name is block IP. But currently there is no IP address which is entered, and that's why everyone is able to access it. Now what I will do is that I will enter my own IP address. Okay, I will enter my own IP address to block myself. Okay, but all of you will be able to access you can see the services which are there. So this is my public IP address. I will just copy it. I will go to this IP set, the block IP set. I will say add an IP address. I will paste this IP address over here. And I will say /32. So I'm blocking my own IP address, means any request that is coming from this IP address. The action what is written here, you can see any request. I will just refresh this now. Okay. If I go to the load balancer again, sorry, the web access list rules and block IP rule, you can see that any request that is coming from this IP address, which is a part of this IP set, what is the action? The action is block this IP. Okay. And now if I try to check, if I refresh this page, previously I was getting the response, but now you can see your IP address has been blacklisted in our company records. You are not permitted to access it. I have given this as a custom, you can say, response, so that they can also come to know that why they are not able to access the web applications. So this way we can block, but if you check yours, you can say on your side, all of you will be able to access it because your IP address is not blocked over here. Okay. But if I go back to the IP set, I will just remove this, you can say, IP address from here, which was blocked. So I will say delete this IP address. I will say delete. And then if I go back and if I check, so after some time, I will see that yes, I am getting the response because now the IP address is not blocked. So this is one rule that I wanted to show you. Next rule, let's see, means I will show some 2-3 reference rules so that you can get an idea. Another type of rule that we can write is like you want to block the requests which are coming from specific countries, means any request which is originating from a country. Like that also you can write a rule, and that is the rule that I have written. This is the rule. You can see the statement is originates from a country. Currently I have set it as Brazil, but we can set it something different also. Let's set some different country. Let's block, you can say India. I will say edit. I will select the country code as India. I will select the India. Now I want to block any request that is originating from India. And I will see the action is blocked. I will say save the rule. Once I click on save the rule, and if I go back here, and you can also check, if you check now that whether you are able to access it or not, what will happen is that you will get, you can say 403 forbidden, which is here. So if you check, you can also check and tell me that are you getting the same output 403 forbidden for all Indian, you can say, who are there, means currently who are working from India, they will get, you can say, this error which is there. Okay, are you getting the same error? Now see, we have blocked, you can say, something which is originating from, you can say, this country. But if I go to any instance, if I go to any other, you can say, instance which is from US or something. So if I go to maybe I have a machine which is in North California and it is already running. So if I just go to this instance and if I say connect, let me just access the terminal of that instance. And if I go to the terminal of, you can see, this particular instance, okay. And suppose I will say curl space uptake skills.in. Can you see? I can get a result. Welcome to AWS SA. Means from US it is not blocked. For India it is blocked. Okay. So we can curl it from, you can say, if someone is accessing it from some different country, they will be able to access it. And that is another rule that we can actually set. So let me just again open it back for all. Okay. I will just go to country block, edit. I will remove India from here and I will save this rule. And once I save this rule, now you will see that now everybody will be able to access it. Means once, because within a few seconds, everyone will be able to access it. Just give me a confirmation whether you are able to access or not. Okay. So this is another rule that we have seen. And let's see, you can say, I will show you two rules now, okay, because we have to see the third service also. Let's go to the agent rule, because I was showing the different types of rules which are there. Now let's see the third rule. This is agent rule. Now you read this, you can say, rule, and anyone who, means if you have the access to, you can say, messages or anything, anyone can tell me that if I read this statement, what you understand by this particular statement. What do you understand by this statement? Maybe I think messages are blocked for you. Okay. What do you understand from this particular statement? I will just, you can say, you can give a thumbs up. Okay. Is it like that we are blocking any request which is coming from a specific browser? If yes, you can give a thumbs up. Yes. And is it for, you can select Chrome, Mozilla and all? Now let's check out this. Now see, currently what I have done is that I have kept it as allow. That's why I have a Chrome browser also handy. Let me just show you here. So see, this is a Chrome browser which I am using. I will just put uptake skills here. You can see that I am able to access it. Okay, I am able to access it in the Chrome. I am able to access it in the Edge. Both of them are working. Now what I will do, I will go to this rule. I will say edit. I will say block the access when it is coming from, you can say, Chrome browser. Save the rule. And now if I go back to, you can say, this particular Chrome browser, and if I refresh this page, you can see that after some time it will show 403 forbidden. But that will work in, you can say, Edge browser. So Chrome is blocked, but Edge browser actually it will be working. So there is no problem with Edge browser. Edge browser you are getting the responses, but Chrome it will be blocked. So this is one more rule that you can use, which is called as a user agent. You can select this rule that you can create. And suppose if you want to, you can say, now understand how we can write a rule and how this rule can be written and all. So I have written one blog on this also. I am just sharing that same link with you so that it will give an idea to you that whenever you want to actually write some rule with respect to, you can say, the WAF to block, you can say, users by using specific, you can say, browser, this blog will help you a lot in understanding that, you can say, steps. Okay. So that I have given to you. Let's now go back to the last rule which is here. Let me just, you can say, unblock this. Last rule is the flooding rule. What if someone does a flood attack or a DDoS attack on your, you can say, your web application, which is a layer 7 flood attack? Okay, how you can protect that? So I have written a rule which is called as a rate-based rule. So you can see that there is a rule that I have written. I have given name like that only. This is a rate-based rule that I have created, and I have set a limit that whenever the request is coming, means someone is trying to, you can say, access or send a HTTP request for my web server. If the number of requests coming from a single IP address, if the number of requests coming from a single IP address crosses the limit of 100, means 100 requests are coming from, you can say, a particular IP within 5 minutes, it's okay. But when it becomes 101, immediately the request will be blocked. Means after 100, within 5 minutes, no request will be allowed to go to your web server. That rate limit, you can put it here. That is called as a rate-based rule, which is there. Now I will show you how this will operate. So currently, we have set a limit which is 100 and till 5 minutes. I will go to the same instance. I go to the same instance which is present in North Virginia. I will show one, you can say, I've created a script which will actually try to curl, you can say, uptake skills continuously. So you can see that this is the script I have written. So it will curl, you can say, uptake skills continuously from 1 to 100, but it will do that, you can say, after every 10 seconds, these many requests will be sent. Then again, after 10 seconds, it will send the request. So like this, it will be continuously, you can say, curling your page or that web server which is there. But after the limit of 100, you will see that it will start, you can say, showing you forbidden. So I will show that now. Let's run the script. I will say shloop.sh. So this is the script that I want to run. Now see, you are looking at the code. You can see the code is 200. It is okay, means it is a status is correct. You are getting the response and it is received. So the code is actually, you can see the code of success. So 200 is a success code and it is showing received. Now after some time, what will happen is that the code will change from 200 to 403 and it will show forbidden. It will not show received. It will start showing 403 and forbidden. So you will see the difference now. Once the 100 limit is reached, the curling limit which is there within 5 minutes, once that rate limit is reached, it will stop, you can say, the request, you can say, forwarding to your destination which is there. That is your web server which is there. So let's wait. Maybe after 30 seconds, you will see the difference. Already 20 seconds are done. Yes, now you can see. Now what it is showing, it is not showing, you can say, 20, you can say 200, you can say request which is there. What it is showing now? It is showing 403 and it is showing forbidden which is there. Okay. So currently, you can see now what was the last, you can say, thing that we have received. 403 is, you can say, the code and forbidden is showing. That means now automatically that attack has been blocked by, you can say, your WAF rule. So that you can define, you can say, in this rule which is called as a rate-based rule. This is changeable, means this is flexible. You can give any number from 100 to, it is somewhere around, you can say, 2000 crore or something like that. And evaluation time minimum can be 1 minute, maximum you can put it as 5 minutes which is there. Okay. And action you can set it, you can say, below which is there. So this was about the WAF. Hope this is clear to all of you now what exactly a WAF is and how you can use a WAF, you can say, to protect your applications from the layer 7 attacks which are there. Okay. Because I've just shown you the rules, how to create rules and everything. It will take a lot of time, you can, because this WAF only takes, you can say, at least 2 hours or 3 hours to get the idea. But in shortly, I will show you how actually WAF works. Okay. Now let's move on to the last service that we want to see for today. And that service is related to the data security. Hope till now you are enjoying the session, not boring. Okay. I've tried to, you can say, keep more and more practical so that you can say no one will get bored about this. So the last service, and again a very interesting service, is Messi. Now what is a Messi service and when we can use this service? Take an example that your company is there. Your company has created, it means we have, suppose, maybe 1,000 employees are there, and maybe these 1,000 employees are divided into multiple departments, development team, testing team, and all that. What happened is that they were saving, you can say, their documents within their local machines. Then the higher management came and they said, okay, why they're saving, you can say, the documents and everything, you can say, within their local machine, because the storage problem is there. Something happened. They asked us, you can say, like the AWS team, that please create one bucket a shareable bucket, a common bucket for all the employees together, so that this bucket can be used by them as a centralized common storage, and ask them to upload any document what they have rather than keeping in a local machine. They can upload their document in the respective folder which is available for them. So this was created by us. So as a AWS team, you can say the AWS team created a bucket. They created the folders by the name of, you can say, the employees, and then this bucket information was shared with all the employees within a mail, that this is the link that you can use to access your bucket, a common bucket which is there. And from now onwards, whatever the documents you are previously storing into your local machines, now onwards you can store it in your bucket which is there. But below that, I have written a big note, important note which is here, that don't upload any document, which has any PI related information, like personal identifiable information which is there, or any sensitive information, any financial information. Don't include such type of documents in this particular bucket. Now, even though we have written all these things, we are humans. Okay, we humans, who will do the mistake? Humans will do the mistakes. Who else will do that? So human tendencies there, because we are humans and we cannot say that everyone is perfect. Intentionally, no one is doing something. Accidentally, it may happen that I am uploading a document, even though I know that this document has a personal information, but accidentally I uploaded that document into my bucket, which was not allowed as per the company's policy. But still I uploaded it. I'm not aware of that also. The person who is uploading that person is not aware that we have uploaded a document which has a credit card number, account number, driving license number, something like that. And that person has uploaded it. Now, as a security engineer, my responsibility is that, even because I know that even though I have informed them, verbally told them, but humans are humans and everyone will do the mistake. Now, my responsibility is that I want to scan my bucket and understand that whether this bucket has any document with, you can say, any sensitive information, financial information, or any PI related information. I want to scan all those objects and identify any sensitive objects are there. And going ahead, I want to take an automated remediation action also on that. So how you can do that? How we can actually do that? Okay. So this can be done. Okay, this can be done by using the service which is called as Amazon Messi, which is here. Now again, this is a, you can say, a managed service which is available from AWS, which is used for data security and privacy. Messi uses machine learning, you can say, algorithms in the backend to discover and classify the sensitive data which is there. And using this, you can monitor potential data leaks or exposures which are there. Now see, Messi can give you two things, or two features are available. One is scanning the objects, identify sensitive information. Another feature which is available from Messi is that it can also provide you the security posture of the buckets which are present in that region. So whenever you enable the Messi for a specific region, it will also scan all the buckets policies also. And it will show you that, see, these many buckets are shared outside, or these are publicly shared. What type of encryption these buckets are using in this region, that also you will understand, and from a single window. All these things you can identify from there. So it can be used to detect unprotected PI in S3, monitoring compliance with, you can say, security policies which are there, and identifying sensitive data, you can say, which are shared publicly. All these things you can say, you can understand from the Messi. Let's see now practically how this can be used, you can say, within, you can say, our you can say, console which is there. Okay. So I will come back to, you can say, with respect to the you can say, when it comes to, you can say, the question answer. At the end, I can say I will just try to give the answers for them. Maybe you will get some answers, you can say, when I'm explaining the things. Okay. So I will just go through the topics first, and then we will see that. So let me just go to the console. I have a you can say, Messi enabled into region which is Mumbai. So let me just first open the service Messi. So I will go to the Amazon Messi service which is there. And when I open the Amazon Messi service, in that, okay, what I will do is that I will just go to the Mumbai region, because I have a demo bucket which is available in Mumbai. So I will go to the Mumbai region. You can see this region is Mumbai. This is the Messi service. And currently in this region, I have only one bucket. And you can see that this bucket is, you can say, a sensitive bucket which is here. If you scroll down, this is what I was talking about. You can say the security posture of your bucket, you can identify directly from this. Messi scans policies also of the bucket, and it can show you how many buckets which are present in this regions are publicly accessible. The buckets which are available, are they encrypted using SSH3 or KMS? Which type of encryption they are using? Or any bucket is shared outside, not publicly, but shared outside with another AWS account or any federated user like that. So is it shared like that? So that also information you can see it over here. Now what I will do is that I will show the bucket currently which is present in this region, which I am showing you for the from the, you can say, the demonstration perspective. So I have a bucket named as test Messi integration. I will show that what the bucket consists of, so that we will proceed with the demo. So this is the bucket which I have created, testing Messi integration. This is present in Mumbai region. Currently this bucket has 3 files which are there. One file you can directly identify from the name, user credentials. So these are the AWS credentials which are there, CLIS credentials which are there, which are present in a CSV file. There is one image file which is there. This is a plain image. There is nothing you can see in that image. So this is general image which is there. I will just show you by opening it. This is just an image which is available. Okay. And I have one more file which is having some Aadhaar card number inside it. Okay. So I will just show you that. Like this is a text file which has a line which is written that my Aadhaar number is this. So something is written there. These are the 3 files, and now you can identify that in these 3 files, these 2 files are sensitive, first and third, Aadhaar.txt and mgn user credential which is there, because both these files have some sensitive data which is there. Now, how you can scan these particular objects and everything within this bucket. Now let's see how we can do that. Go to the Messi, okay, within that region, you have to first enable the Messi and everything that you have to do. Once you do that, then go to the option which is get started. Click on the button which is create and you can say job, and then say select a specific bucket which is there. And it will show you, if because I have only one bucket in this region. If you have 10 buckets, it will show all 10 buckets, and you can select which one you want to scan. I am selecting that one bucket which is available. I will say next. Then I will say next. Now it is saying that whether you want to scan this bucket on a schedule basis, like daily, weekly, monthly, or like that, or it is a one-time job. So I will say it is a one-time job because I do not want to scan it regular basis. If you want to do that on regular basis, you can use this. Okay. Then click on next. And then the first option that it will ask you that, do you want to use managed identifiers? Managed means what? Which are created by AWS. So AWS already has some identifiers which are created, and regex pattern, everything they have created for these things, like AWS credentials are there, driving license number is there, credit card numbers are there. These are called as a managed identifiers which are there. But remember that managed data identifiers cannot cover everything. Like for example, AWS has created these things. They may not know what is Aadhaar card because that belongs to only India. They may not know, you can say like, you can say voter ID card. These things may not be known to them, and that's why they have not created those identifiers. And what if I want to include them? Then what we can do that, we can create our own custom identifier also. Like in the left hand side, you can see there is an option called as a custom data identifier. I have written a blog on that also, how you can create a custom data identifier for, you can say, identifying Aadhaar card number. And the same thing I already created. So I will select this managed data identifier, whatever is recommended, which covers AWS credentials. I will go to the next button or the next page. Now you can see already I have created, you can say, custom data identifier, which is Aadhaar card number, which can detect, you can say, Aadhaar card from any document which is scanned by Messi. So I will select that, you can say, Aadhaar card option which is there. So this identifier also I'm selecting. I will say next. And once that is done, I will just give the name for this, you can say, job. Let's give a name like AWS user group job. So I will give some name, you can say, with respect to this, you can say, event which is here. Go to next option. I will say override, you can say, because I'm not storing these results in any bucket. So I will say submit. Now once you say submit, what will happen is that you can see that now the job has been started. This is the job name. It is a one-time job, and currently it is active and running. Now what I have done is that for remediation purpose, I have added 2 things over here. One is Messi, which is now scanning, you can say, your bucket. So Messi is actually scanning the bucket which is there. So this is your bucket. Messi is scanning, you can say, your bucket. So it will scan your objects which are there within this bucket. And in the bucket, if it founds, you can see that there are some objects which are sensitive. What the Messi will do? Messi will generate the findings. Messi will generate the findings. So these findings will be generated by the Messi. Once these findings are generated, what I have done is that I have used one more service, and that service is called as event bridge. If all of you know, this is a you can say service that can be used to trigger anything. Like previously it was known as CloudWatch events. So if any event happens, I want to get, you can say, understand that yes, this has happened, and then I can trigger some other service which is there. So this is used for, you can say, for creating some rules, that if the pattern of the rule is matched with the finding, like if any finding is generated, this event bridge rule will get triggered. This it will get activated. And when it is activated, I have created a Lambda function. I have created a Lambda function which has a function written to delete any sensitive object, that are detected within this finding. So if the findings has two files, Lambda will come to know that which these two files are, and I have written a function which will delete, you can see, these two particular files from that bucket. We will see that option because it will take some time for this job to get completed, where we can see the results. Now see, this is the job. Select this job. I will click on this job link. Then it will show you this option. I will say show result and show findings. Now after some time, you will see that the findings will get generated over here. So you will see the two findings will get generated, and as you can see the findings are generated, immediately Lambda will get triggered and Lambda will delete those two files. So once you can see the findings here, you will see that within this bucket only one file will be left. Both this file will get automatically deleted which are there. So this way the Messi can be used to detect or identify, you can say, the objects which are there, means objects with a PI related information, sensitive information. Either you can use managed identifiers, and if you want to add your own identifiers, like it can be employee, it can be a PI for you, it can be, suppose your company is giving some, you can say, medical policies, and those medical policy numbers are also as considered as a PI. You can add those identifiers as a custom identifiers which are there. Now, if you want to do that, and if you want, you can say like how we can create our custom identifiers, how I can create, you can say, the job in Messi. All these things I will share one, you can say, link with you. This is a blog link which I have written a blog on that, and you can use this blog link to identify, means to understand how we can create a custom identifier, and using that custom identifier, how we can create a Messi job, and how we can scan the objects within that Messi. Okay, so we have to wait for some time. I will just go through the questions also that you have entered, but we have to wait for some time for this, you can say, results to come. Let me show you, you can say, let's check that IAM access analyzer also. So I will go to IAM access analyzer, because we have done the things, we can say, maybe half an hour back. Maybe till this time, you can say, it should have generated some findings for us. Okay. So still it is not generated. Let me just check. Yeah, you can see here it has generated a finding. Okay, in North Virginia, you can see that the finding was generated. We have used, you can say, a role. I have shown you the role name was Discovery Day role, which was there. So we use this particular role. We assume this particular role from an account. You can see the name of the account is 4857. This is the name number of that account. So from this account, we have tried to, you can say, assume this role, and this finding has been generated by the access analyzer, which is it. So access analyzer will generate the findings for any, you can say, role which is accessed by any external principal, any resource that is accessed by any, you can say, your external principal. All these things we can see from the access analyzer, which is there. And in graphical format also, you can see this finding. Like these are the 18 findings which are generated. One is related to public access, others are related to cross account access. All that information and which resources are accessed, that also you can see. Everything will be displayed, and if you want to see the detailed findings, then you can go to the option of view all active findings, and then you can click on any of this finding which is there, and then you can see the details of that finding. And once you go into detail of finding, then you can take an action. Whether it is intended, you can archive it. If it is not intended, you can go and check that maybe some permissions you have given due to which someone is able to, you can say, access your role from outside. So then you can change that policies and everything which is related to that. Okay. So let me just go back to the Messi. So we will check whether the findings are generated or not. You can see now the findings are generated. Two findings are generated. One is for credential category, another is custom identifier category. In the credential category, you can see that it is given that there is a file in this bucket. This is the bucket name and this is the file name. This is the file which has some credentials. And also it is showing that there is a file named as other.txt. It is matching with, you can say, your custom data identifier which is there. And due to which it has generated, you can say, the finding for that also. Now, once the findings are generated, my Lambda function has, you can say, taken, means that has been triggered and it should have taken the action on those objects. Like say previously it was 3 files. I will just refresh, you can see this bucket. You can see only 1 file is there. Because all the other 2 files which were detected as a sensitive object, I have written a function to delete those, but it is not compulsory that you should delete it. You can take any action you want. You can write a Lambda function in that way. For demo purpose, I have just shown that how those particular files, you can say, you can take an action on, and in an automated manner. So Massey has done his work, and then Lambda function has done its work. Okay, so this way we can integrate multiple services together, and we can create, you can say, an automated solution as well. Okay. So I think I have done from my side. Let me just go to the question and answer option which is here. Let me just check.
Maybe I can ask and you can answer.
Yeah. Yes. Please.
I can see vary, but due to the time limit, we already exited.
Yeah, no problem.
Like one question from each. So first question is like, can we automate IAM access analyzer, integrate with other AWS services like AWS config or CloudThat?
Yes. So see, when we use the access analyzer, similar to what I have shown you, Messi, okay, event bridge and Lambda function, system manager, whatever you want to use. Event bridge will always come into picture because that is the, you can say, service that can understand that there is some event which has happened with this access analyzer. There is a finding which is generated, and then using a Lambda function or system manager automation document, we can take an automatic action on that particular thing which is here. Okay, so that can be done similar to Messi what I have shown.
Okay. There is another questions regarding WAF. So it's like, how does AWS WAF is different from other traditional firewalls specific to web applications?
Now see, AWS, whenever you talk about, you can say the WAF which is here. WAF is a native, you can say, firewall which is available in the AWS. And always it is good because if you're running your, you can say, services within the AWS environment, you're hosting your web application within the AWS environment. AWS always prefers that rather than using some other service, you can use the services which are present in the AWS itself. Okay. And that is where actually we can use, you can say, the web application firewall. But they are not restricted that you should use this only. Why they are, you can say, proposing that? Because it is already there within the, you can say, the AWS platform itself. Okay.
Okay, nice. I'll take last one, which is related to Massey. So AWS Massey helps organization. Do AWS Massey helps organization discover data access pattern that could indicate a security breach or data leak?
Yeah. So now when we talk about Messi, I've shown you that there is one option which is available, like it can understand from the policy whether this bucket are publicly accessible or not. And that gives you the information that whatever buckets I have created within this region, are these buckets, you can say, like following the compliance, whether they are, you can say, not publicly shared. If anything is publicly shared, you can get the information there itself. And that's why they will help you can say in understanding whether these buckets are publicly accessible or not. But when it comes to, you can say, like, I want to do an audit, like who is accessing and everything, that they cannot detect. What they can detect is that whether the bucket is publicly shared or not, whether it is encrypted and how it is encrypted, and whether that bucket is, you can say, shared with some different accounts. If you want to, you can say, understand that if suppose you can say someone is trying to access, you can say your bucket, and based, or you can say based on the access type, you want to understand whether this there is a breach or something. Then in that purpose, if you want to do auditing of that those things, then CloudTrail can help you in understanding that. So CloudTrail logs can help you in understanding who has accessed that particular bucket, when it was accessed, from where it was accessed. That you can actually do.
Okay, thank you. Think we have done for the today, but before wrapping up, I'd like to say like thank you so much, Abhijit. So providing a very insightful and helpful session. So a huge
Thanks.
thank you to you and sharing your expertise. We appreciate all of you for taking the time to attend and for your active participation during the question answer. Unfortunately, we were able to take only few questions because of the time limit, but thank you so much for that. And also, last part is like before we wrap up, I'd like to remind you to stay connected with our AWS security using APAC community. Keep an eye out for our upcoming events. We have got more exciting sessions planned for the futures. So until next time, stay safe, secure in the cloud, and having a great evening and also a happy weekend.
Yeah. Happy weekend to all of you.
Yeah.
Be secure.
Can I just, I came back from the call.
Uh, yes, Amit. So
Thank you so much.
Amit is our sponsor. He's a co-founder and CTO from the Ablua. He'd like to add few points from his point. Over to you, Amit.
Mintu, thank you so much. Abhijit, absolutely engaging discussion. Absolutely. It's been a long time that I have been in a session which was that much engaging, helpful at each and every step. The way you conducted it was really, really practically useful. So thank you so much for conducting this thing. I'm sure that everyone who is here would have benefited from it. We definitely want to host you more and more in future sessions. Definitely want to stay connected with you. And likewise for everyone, guys, thank you so much for taking out time, staying here for this session. You guys were fabulous. You asked very relevant questions. It shows that you're attentive, and actually it's also a sign that the speaker was engaging and his content was useful. So thank you so much. Just want to say that Mintu, super good job. You have been running this group, taken it from 0 to 500 people. I'm sure that we are running and chasing 1K members in this group soon. For all the people who are here, you can use this group, AWS APAC group, for asking questions if you have. But Mintu and I decided that we'll allow you to post your requirements. If you're looking for a job or something, you can post it here. Maybe some of the friends on the forum can help. If you're starting a tech Medium or YouTube channel, you can advertise it here so that you can get some subscribers. So for any technology advancement, personal or professional, you may use, if it is associated with AWS Cloud, you may use this platform. You can push your messages here, or you can connect with Mintu, and Mintu can approve those messages, and it can be forwarded to all the people. Once again, thank you so much. Have a good evening, Abhijit. So much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.